All right, we're catching up with Brad Huff of Amp Human Performance, formerly
Amp Human. They killed the performance side, but it's no, the name, we're just Amp Human 100% right there.
What was it before though?
Gosh, it was like Tropical Edge before, and then it was Amp Human Performance, and now we're finalized with Amp Human, makers of PR lotion.
Okay, all the same product though.
All the same.
Okay, so you guys, you're at BWR this year, big part of BWR. What are your thoughts of BWR? You like that event?
Yeah, I mean, Big Jeff was there last year. If anybody saw that Gap 2 smile walking around with a lot of lube in his hands and just a lot of jovialness, we just love being a part of the BWR because it's just gritty, and that's what we are. Like, we're not a pretty product, but with the performance you get out of it is enjoyable, and the memories are like you can't get those. So that's why we're a part of BWR.
Okay, so talking about the product a little bit, I think people have really started to see it now. Maybe not everyone's tried it. How, like, let's dumb it down a little bit. Let's just break it down. Like, what is Amp Human, and like, what are people going to benefit by using it?
It's a transdermal bicarb lotion that's able to help an individual get more out of their muscles. So they're able to get more out of a ride. So they're able to finish the ride stronger without feeling like they want to get shot with a shotgun.
So where does this come into BWR? How are people going to get, like...
Bad line, but...
That's a good line.
Yeah.
That's your new tagline.
Yeah.
So let's take your average Joe coming from, Minnesota. They've never used it. They show up. They want to try it out. What are they going to benefit, like, with it first off, or do you kind of have to use it for a few times to get the...
Your first dose is just like your 80th dose. This stuff is imperative for anyone at the elite level or the weekend warrior level, or if you're just trying to finish the wafer. I mean, this product can help you get more out of yourself and finish the day when you thought you were just not even going to make it to the third rest stop.
So does it come into play, like, with the lactic acid buildup, or like, where does it really, like, kind of like if I try it for the first time and I'm going to go hit BWR tomorrow, where am I going to notice it? Like, oh man, like,
you're
I feel it.
You're going to notice it from the first pedal stroke and the first climb, the first effort where you're trying to stay with the group up a little riser. It is helping you buffer the lactic acid that you're producing, no matter if you're riding, running, cycling, downhill skiing, doing a CrossFit WOD. It is helping your muscles be more efficient by buffering lactic acid, which causes the fatigue and causes you to have soreness the next day. So it enables you to get more out of you.
Now, you were using this a bit when you were racing, right?
I lathered this stuff on like I don't know. I mean, I took a shower in it every race virtually.
So, all right. So how many years did you race pro?
13 years professional.
All right. And how many times did some new company come around, or like, hey, this is
every year,
right?
Something new was the hottest, greatest, best thing in the world.
But so obviously, yeah, maybe most of the time that stuff wasn't to be as true as they say.
Right. And I'm very a disbeliever in all the homeopathic medicine and things that'll be magical to help you get your threshold up or survive or recover. And I'm a staunch clean athlete, and this is the number one thing that I've been able to get behind because it's only baking soda. It's sodium bicarbonate baking soda, which you can buy at the grocery store and utilize. It's produced in our pancreas to help regulate pH balance, and this stuff is incredible, and it does work. We have proven science behind it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm curious. Not curious, but like, what intrigues me with you is, like, you were actually using it when you're racing, and you're not just like working for the brand and like, hey, like, this is what it is, I'm gonna sell it. Like, before you came on board, like, you're a big believer of it, like, first, out in the racing.
Exactly. Big Jeff and Nate Loyal actually introduced me to it before rally cycling even knew what it was. I was one of the first athletes on the team on the pro circuit to have this product on their legs. I used it for the shootout down in Tucson, Arizona, which was one of the hardest group rides in America, and I was amazed at what I was able to do on that ride, just getting my fitness back. And I didn't do a race or a key workout without it over the last 2 years of my career, and now Brandon McNulty doesn't ride without it. The best riders in the world are using this, and everyone else should.
So let's talk a little bit about BWR real quick. Obviously your vast knowledge, you've been racing for years and years. Like, how do you feel kind of like this current almost like change in landscape in the U.S. of domestic racing, where, a lot of the races you've done are basically gone in the U.S. And then now you have events like BWR that are popping up that are kind of like marathon style racing, but / guys are riding it. Like, it definitely seems to be changing a little bit.
people want to be able to be included. They want to be able to participate. And these events that are on the gravel or on the dirt are desirable because they're safe. People can go to them and interact and rub elbows with the best in the world. I mean, if Jesse Anthony lines up or Colin Strickland, it's amazing to see these riders at BWR and be able to ride with them and be on the start line. And it's just a great experience without the pressure and need to buy a high-dollar license, and it's just awesome.
I mean, like, just off the top of your head, like, what are some races that you've done in the U.S. that, you really like that aren't even around anymore?
I mean, the Philly Classic. I mean, that was the marquee race in America, which every professional desired to do and desired to win. And I've went over the top of the Manayunk Wall in the final selection. I don't know how, but I've done it. That race is gone. And there was another one that I didn't get to do, which years ago, Elgin, four bridges at Elgin. I don't know, Danny Paint won it. There's amazing races that just aren't around, and you got to go with the trend. And the trend is to get on the dirt and have fun, and this is what it's about.
Do you think, like, these races will, BWR events, races like this will grow and take the place of, like, a Philly one day? Or do you think they'll just carve out its own little niche? And do you think, like, a race like Philly could come back? Or are those days kind of done almost?
It almost feels like they're done, which is sad because road racing is kind of dying. I mean, it's scary to get on the road. People don't want to be out there with everyone, distracted drivers on their cell phones, trying to get to work on time, and they're not realizing that we are doing the same thing out on the road, just trying to have a good day, start the day right, get to work, whatever it might be. And the gravel is where to go. I mean, it's safe, it's fun. You can do it with your buddies and have beer along the way.
Do you see, like, these style events?
I should have said that one.
I'll have beer along the way.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I've seen the pictures. I've seen it.
But, like, do you see this concept, like, just growing? And, I mean, obviously there's, like, the Kansas, now there's BWR, but, like, do you think there's just going to be a full calendar of these style events where, like, a pro team, like the director of the pro team is going to be like, all right, here's all the events we're hitting, but then also, like, Steven and Janet from, Nebraska be like, oh, I'm going to go to the same ones.
Right. I mean, these are great fitness tests. And everyone wants something to have a goal to reach towards. And this is what any individual, no matter if you're a world tour rider, a pro rider, or an elite or a weekend warrior, you can go to these events and achieve your goals and feel good along the way.
So, and you came to the recent survival camp.
I went to the survival camp, and I was blown away at the difficulty of BWR. What is it, Black Canyon?
Yeah.
Oh, that was rough. So actually at the bottom, I lathered up with PR lotion just to make it up the climb. I felt great. I definitely suffered with some fast guys. But, it's a cool experience that everyone should have in their bucket list.
So if you, like, let's go back, like, let's say, 3 years ago when you were still racing, still killing it. BWR wasn't really exactly where it is right now, but, let's say if you were still racing today, like, what would your thoughts be on, like, BWR would be like, all right, how am I going to fit this on my calendar? Or, like, you talk to the director, like, hey, can I do this? Or, like, would you go there to try to win it? Or would you go there to kind of just experience? Or, like, let's put Brad Huff back in, like, racing, but bring BWR into it.
If you're going for the win, you need to focus on going for the win. I mean, that's an important thing, no matter if you're an age grouper or if you're one of the pros. But it's just an amazing day that you're able to get huge fitness gains from. And so no matter if you're finishing the wafer or the big kahuna, I mean, it's a great day that anyone should put on their list.
So how is life after pro racing for you? How's that been going?
It's tough, man. Transition from, being able to focus on yourself and performance-oriented days on the bike and your control of everything to your main performance goal is to finish the black hole of emails. It's tough. But I'm really lucky to work with an amazing company. Big Jeff, the CEO, is an ex-NFL player, so he understands the transition out of professional athletics. And, I just feel really blessed to be a part of the team.
When you were done racing, or when you were like, all right, this is going to be my last year, did you have, like, any set plans on what you're going to do after? Or did it, like, something like this just kind of come up? Or, like, how'd that transition go?
I was really lucky. A BWR veteran, Neil Shirley, who's been in the marketing world and was an ex-pro cyclist he's one of the top in the world. I like to say he's the national champion, but people question that one. But, the champ, Neil Shirley, was actually doing some marketing for Amp Human, and he was leaving to go to Envy, who's a huge sponsor of BWR and works with them. Is that right? Don't they do that?
Yeah,
they're part of the gravel camp.
Official.
And official. I mean, I've got them on my bike, and I'm pretty stoked on the G Series. But he left and went over to Envy, and Big Jeff and Neil talked to me like, hey, Brad, we know you're retiring. Would you like to fill in the spot? And it was perfect timing.
So this is one thing I've always thought about. Maybe you can share your 2 cents on too. Like when you're racing, you kind of have those goals of like the races you want to hit. You need to train and get ready for them. It's pretty laid out. Oh, I'm gonna peak for this race. Oh, I'm gonna ride these races and this and that. So it's pretty straightforward year. Now that you're working, do you have like new set goals, or not life after racing? Like are you just kind of just figuring out day by day, or like how's your adjustment changed since you're still so new to like
my goals are to build my bone density back up after being on a non-weight bearing sport for
easy there.
Yeah,
skinny guys,
whoa,
a little
yeah,
bigger still.
yeah. It is different goals. Your day is focused around achieving what the team needs from you, from the corporate side and marketing, and getting the deliverables from your key athletes out there. And so my best thing is to set boundaries for myself, to make sure to not forget about my health and my wellness and happiness. Then I'm a more productive employee, regardless of what job I have. So trying to go, take care of myself, go to the gym, go for a run, go for a ride, whatever it might be, and try to enjoy the path.
How much are you riding these days?
Not that much. I try to ride at least 3-4 times a week. It doesn't always happen, but if I can get some kettlebell work in the morning or the evening, that'll make up for it.
All right, cool. Well, hey, Brad, thanks for chatting. We're going to talk to big man Jeff next, and we'll see you May 5th.
See you at BWR.
All right, we're sitting here, part 2, with our AMP Human Performance Chat with the main man, Jeff Beyers. Jeff, how you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks, Warren Beck.
So let's hear it. We're BWR's coming up, and you've got something that can help everyone.
Yeah, help everyone, regardless of the level. We got PR Lotion. We're based out of Park City, Utah. Newly moved in residents there. But PR Lotion really simply allows you to push a little harder, recover faster, and feel better while you ride. It does so by buffering that lactic acid, that burn you feel when you hit those punchy climbs in BWR when Michael Marks decides to make a course from hell.
All right, so we were just chatting earlier, and so this is going to be your 3rd year at BWR, but this will be the 2nd year for the product. So last year I feel like it was pretty new as far as the product goes. How is it 1 year later?
Yeah, so last year we were called Topical Edge at BWR. Everybody probably knows us as that there, but last year we were just kind of coming out, getting out of our shell with Topical Edge, and still super niche-y and focused on, kind of core cycling and feeling out the market to see if, what the market would look like. You fast forward a year and, now we're our 2 biggest customers are the Super Bowl teams, and we sell to NHL champs and the world's best athletes and teams. And we've really in the last, 365 days since the last BWR, just grown exponentially. Obviously, we changed our name, which was massive for the company, so nobody can call me Tropical Edge or Tropical Jeff or any of those terrible names that we used to be called.
So just curious, because I know people, know that you guys did change your name, or maybe they are just find out. What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, well, first off, Topical Edge, from a marketing standpoint, I'm no marketer, but they said it was the worst name I could have ever chose. When people mess up your name, not on purpose, it's pretty bad. But really, the big deal is we've got this incredible technology behind PR Lotion, behind our company, and we're launching additional products underneath this technology. So in the next 12 months, we plan to launch 2 to 3 more products that aren't sodium bicarbonate based, that are other basic vitamins, mineral supplements that help you perform better or live more healthy, using the lotion technology that we have, the delivery technology.
So kind of going back to where, like, you've kind of really been in cycling now, over a year now. Like, if we're using the scale of like BWR last year to this year as the time frame, Brad and I were talking about how there are a lot of companies that come into the sport and they're a bit of a, snake oil style. Like, yeah, it's going to help you do X, Y, and Z, and, maybe it doesn't so much. So from a consumer standpoint, obviously with your products, tried and tested, you guys have the facts. Like, how's the consumer feedback been of people going like, okay, yeah, it actually does work?
Yeah, it's really crazy when we do expos and things like that. You have people come up and be like, "My buddy told me about this. I thought it was BS, but it works." Right? Like it's incredible the amount of people that are like, "I can't believe it actually works." But that's kind of the underlying factor. I had like one of the greatest comments from somebody was they're trying to describe it to their friend, and their friend's like, "How does this feel?" And he's like, "Use it for a week and then don't use it, and you'll know it works." Right? And the consumer feedback has been really, really, really positive. The negatives, as all you PR lotion lovers know, is it kind of looks like honey mustard, and it's a little not pretty. But the good news is in about 4 months, 5 months, we're going to launch a new version that is white and dries faster and is less viscousy. We've invested a lot of time and money into the underlying technology from a biotech standpoint. But the feedback on, hey, we know it works. We've got the data. We've got the world's best athletes and teams that are not just using it but are buying it. And we've got the data behind it. It works. It's awesome. And the consumer feedback is people who use it properly and give us a fair shake always come back and are like, it works. And then some of them are like, it's kind of nasty. We're like, yeah, but it works.
So like, to kind of like really like break it down, because it's a sodium bicarbonate product, right?
Yeah. So
and that's nothing new, really.
Yeah. So sodium bicarbonate has been used. There's 6 decades worth of research on taking it orally. But the challenge has been is sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate is a base, and it's naturally used in our body to help regulate acid. Right? But when you put it in your stomach is massively acidic. It creates gut bombs. And so it's never been a practical tool for most athletes to use in training or in competition unless it's a very short distance because you can sacrifice your gut.
People have used it. I mean, I used it before time trials.
Exactly.
And it's definitely tough to do. So, but it doesn't work.
That
way is difficult.
But yeah, that's the issue is when you put it in your gut and you put enough in your gut to actually make a physiological difference to help performance, it creates a gut bomb. Think about in 3rd grade when you made the volcano and you mixed vinegar and baking soda. Like vinegar is acidic, baking soda is a buffer, creates a damn volcano. That's what happens in your gut when you do it. So it's never been practical for everybody except for the elite people doing time trials, Olympic rowing, 800-meter sprints. But because we can get it through the skin with our technology, it enables that molecule, sodium bicarbonate, to actually be practical and effective.
So that's what I was trying to get. Like, I mean, the technology's kind of been there, but you guys have this new way of applying it to where it really makes you guys stand out with something new.
The tech that we have is this underlying technology that allows us to get things through the skin in the form of a lotion. So what we have is Amp Human spun out of a biotech. That biotech invested about $20 million to develop a technology that allows us to encapsulate molecules in fat. Basic way I describe it is we built a Trojan horse. We built it out of a bunch of different known ingredients, but it looks like a fat bubble. And our skin is made up of fat and skin cells, and fat likes fat. And so if you can mask things as fat, our body absorbs fat. And once you get through the outer layer of the skin, you're through, and you're able to deliver a payload. But that technology, that Trojan horse technology, call it, is really what makes our product unique, is that we came from a biotech company that allowed us to transport sodium bicarbonate into the body in the form of a lotion.
All right, so touching on the event real quick, you've ridden the event, BWR. Last year you were there, setting up, vendor, sponsor, all that. Now you're coming back this year. Now, you're no former cyclist, pro cyclist, someone like Brad or anything. Like your background's actually, fill everyone in that doesn't know what your football background is.
Yeah, so I am not a cyclist. I don't have a watt problem. I have a kg problem. I played pro football for 4 years. I was an offensive lineman, and since retiring, have fallen in love with riding my bike, and especially riding gravel and doing crazy things like BWR. And so, yeah, I don't have a cycling background, but I have a love for doing stupid things. And not that BWR is stupid, but it's half crazy, and that's really fun. And riding on the road sucks when you can ride on single track with a gravel bike or a road bike, for that matter.
So with you like having no background cycling, growing up racing this and that, what are your thoughts on like an event like BWR? Like, how do you look at that? Because it's something still pretty new for you. You know, it's a different sport. You know, it'd be like us. We went to some football thing. We're like, oh, well, you know, we don't really know what's going on. Like, what's your views on that coming from another professional sport?
Yeah, I mean, BWR is so unique because it's not it's a race, but it's not a race, right? And it's a competition, but it's not. It's like a competition within yourself to challenge yourself on like how gritty are you? Like, what's your mental toughness? Because like, right, it's not meant to be easy. It's not easy for anybody.
That makes it really clear.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's right. It's a mental challenge, and it's right. It's it's like that's to get that summit, to do that championship. It's one of those things that you're just like, man, I want to do BWR because it's really fun, and it's a kick in the what, but it's also a massive challenge and undertaking where it doesn't just challenge your body, it challenges your mind. And like, my past 2 years, it's, you play that mind game like, hey, what am I doing with my life? And then you get through it and you're like, man, I'm glad I did that. So I know you've had those same soul searching moments within the BWR.
All right, well, hey, we're excited that you're on board, and we're looking forward to it. It's coming up quick, a few weeks.
Man, yeah, around the corner.
Yeah.
Better get in shape.
Are you riding?
I'm not riding, sadly.
I'll be right there with you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks.